L to the S. So, let's start off, if folks don't mind, if we could get just a recap of what happened last game. That'll help me start the day right.
We cleared out an evil temple. Yay! Now we must face the consequences of our own actions.
Hey,
It's all good.
you guys had finished. You guys had finished up in the Temple of Moa, the place of Khaled's Rest. The river ruins, for lack of a better term, currently buried underwater. Convinced the master of conjuration, Khaled, to join your party and explore the world a little bit, get her bearings, and return to that place at a later date. You guys spent a bunch of time on top of Roar's all-purpose, all-terrain folding boat, where you learned some things, you talked about some things, you did some planning.
Indeed.
Came to find out that there are several peculiar alloys, peculiar metals that were of interest to both Karn and Roar. Learned that there's potentially an artifact of power somewhere in the Mistcliff Mountains. Same place where the Pale Dwarves, the albino dwarves, are said to be located. Same place that is rumored to currently be the abode of a dragon, perhaps? There's been talk of kobolds in the area getting ornery and messing with nearby researchers and locals. You guys planned to meet back up with the caravan currently stationed somewhere to the north of you. Before you left, Biff performed a spiritual assay of the area, confirmed what you guys had suspected about the area to the south. The known location of a buried cigarette, a place shrouded in mystery, said to be surrounded by undead, is, big surprise, a place of powerful dark energy, a place of negative energy, a sort of void or anti-power in the
Wasn't it
land.
also a worship site for the Koboloi?
Yes. During your discussion with Khaled, she painted a different picture. To her and the small folk who she had broke bread with and made friends with, referred to the place as a long-abandoned temple dedicated to lunar worship. She described it as a pyramid of alabaster stone. The description that Crosp gave you was a buried ziggurat of black stone, marked with alchemical symbols and demonic effigies. One thing can be two things. But once again, you are found. You find yourselves with a contradiction. Something that was one thing in the distant past is now transformed. It has become something else, half buried, decayed, and defiled. Along with the essay of the South, Biff also discovered something toward the Never Eat Soggy Waffles, the west of you. A place that you surmised is located in or near the caverns that Verdi had identified as a place where mushrooms, rare mushrooms, would grow, a place of importance, of ecological study. If it sensed some kind of planar power there, a sensation that he could only describe as dark and enshrouded. Something mysterious tugged at his back brain. After making tentative plans for the days to follow, you made your way north for a couple hours because, goddamn, that boat quick as hell. You landed near the caravan site, found that the commissioners and the exodites along with them appear to be in good condition. Incognitus informed you of a few scuffles that had occurred along the way. Some jaggy smashing and zombie poking had occurred. No one seemed to have been harmed much. Though there is a triage tent that is tending to the wounded, though there are few. It seems to be scrapes, bumps, and sprains, for the most part. During your travel along the boat, Alina, you were goaded by the demon Alglorath, who tried to get into your head, who, after a failed wisdom save, did get into your head. Though he expressed he was in your corner, in a way, rooting for you, he also made it very evident that what you were thinking about is indeed something of cosmic importance. When you made your way back to camp, Alina, you broke from the party and made your way to Jean Delacroix, the cleric, paladin, cleric of Silun, the lunar deity of chaotic goodness and bane of lycanthropes, all that stuff. You expressed to her what had happened through the day, and she found your story to be incredulous and checked you a few times for concussions, found no concussions, and so heard you out in earnest. Alina expressed her feelings about fucking up, and Jean's point, or question that she posed to Alina was, well, did it feel like the right thing? Alina, I believe you turned into rest at that point.
Thought about it. I think Alina's kind of took off half her armor. Realized that when she goes to sleep, she's going to have to face all of her relatives, including her own mother, possibly, that live in her head, and went, no, put my armor back on.
You know what? I'm not coming out of my room to see my family today. Let's not do that.
I'm sure there's something for me to do around here.
There's something to do. So, Alina stays up. Speaking of staying up, a number of you did remain awake to do various things before bedding. Biff, you had your bag of potions identified by the two arcanists in the party. Found they were of interest to you. Some of them are a little intense. Some of them are very intense. Crowley was packing heat for what was seemingly just a fun scuffle and wrestling match in the city.
Surprising absolutely no one.
Let's see. During the evening before bedding, Biff, you also noticed Arunk, one of the Tortle students of nature, the monks that you've identified, watching you from a distance, keeping a keen eye on you before disappearing into the crowd. It sits kind of odd in the back of your mind as you prepare to bed for the evening as well. Verdi, you had some stuff happen in Forum Play.
Yeah, Verdi sought out Monty to basically patch up bad things that happened in the past.
You buried the hatchet.
That's the words. And unintentionally got good, bad dating advice.
You got the best dating advice from Monty.
For all Verdi knows, it's the best dating advice.
All Verdi needs to know is that Monty gives good dating advice, and Monty gave you a lot of dating advice. You guys went for a walk, you had a chit-chat, you buried the hatchet, you forgave Monty for what had happened due to him back in those years ago. And just like nothing happened, he proceeded to chum it up with you as you guys walked around camp. Verdi, you expressed feelings about your love, interest, and it seems like you're forming a bit of a game plan for just how to proceed.
Oh yeah, Verdi has it all planned out, and it'll probably go wrong.
It'll go super duper right. Don't worry about it. It's great. You also learned, while speaking with Monty, that not all of the scouting parties have arrived on time. He was surprised to see you arrive before some of the rangers. He mentioned that Nerixus might have more information on the matter.
Yep, Verdi definitely plans on figuring out what's going on and making a late night of finding out where these rangers went.
Late night party. Okay. I believe Roar had entered his sentry's rest at around 9 p.m. Galleon would do likewise, though he's keen to come out of his rest when bothered or interested or distracted. Vigilant, I think is the term. Fiend Keeper Bolgup remains on the boat. He appears to be perusing a book of some kind, while Adanu and Khalid have disembarked. They don't move far from the ship. They also don't mingle with the people nearby. They seem to be stargazing and meandering. We're going to pull things back into game where we had left off on the boat with Karn and Roar and those who remain there.
Karn is entering his rest around the same time because he needs to recuperate. And I think last game Vanya spent some time hanging out with Leah and questioning her about her magic in the realm of positivity.
Absolutely. So, back on the ship, Karn, you feel something tug at the back of your mind on the presence of your periphery, your awareness around you, as the shadows around your body darken and begin to twist and writhe like mist or like small tendrils out of the crooks and the beams of the boat. You hear Rua, and she speaks softly.
I think I'm going to try that thing that the elf said.
Referring to coming out to play. Several moments pass as this shadowy, smoke-like form begins to writhe and twist out of the ground, out of the floorboards beside you, as the diminutive shape of what was once your companion begins to manifest. She's different than you recall seeing her. Her body is this shadowy, umbral, dark color, and her hair is these wispy, long, tendril-like rat's nest of shape that trickles and trails and fades into nothingness all about her, wild and untamed. You see a pair of eyes in the dark that blink open, lambent and faintly glowing this yellowy color with these sunset red irises at their center. It reminds you of Rua's true form when you had seen it before, only there's none of the fur, there's none of that cocoa brown color. She looks very much like a creature of manifest darkness. And she is seated beside you, kind of looking around, kind of looking up and to the side.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm really here, big guy. I can't...
She reaches out and kind of clenches a hand.
I can't feel anything. It's cold. Kinda icky. Definitely icky.
She kind of shakes her hand and places her hands into her lap and glances up at you.
A busy day.
I kind of cock my head to the side a little bit and nod.
And she looks and nods to you and then looks back to the sky, noting the stars, and her eyes focus on the moon above, which is currently at half mast. What is that term? Half of the moon is illuminated while the other side is completely shrouded in darkness, almost completely symmetrical down the center.
So, the elf lady, she said something about that in the temple. I remember a story. Something that a Carrick used to say, and those who are older than him, before they stopped being old and started being dust. Here's a story about my people. How they came from somewhere far away and didn't really belong here. That the sun hurts them and the moon doesn't. And some of us think we came from there. A lot of our stories were lost when... they call it the Calamity, and I guess that's a good enough name for it. And the stuff that came after it. But that story in the temple, those things survived. And I wonder if they're true.
This one intends to visit this temple with the others. These ones are very curious about the origins of this place as well.
She nods and glances at you and looks back up.
Carrick talked about this city in the sky. And that we weren't always from here. We didn't always call it home. He said long ago we used to sing and dance in this city. A place where all roads led to. And led to all roads. But something happened. There was this big storm that shook the city and tossed all of its people into the air, sending them tumbling through the sky. There was a powerful, I guess you'd call it a sorcerer. It doesn't translate well, and Magic Man doesn't really have the same ring to it, I guess. The sorcerer caught everyone in a big... It is gonna sound stupid, but he said he caught everyone in a big blue quilt, bundled them up, and deposited them safely on the jungle island. And the next day, when we caught our breath and we all looked around, the kobolai couldn't find the sorcerer, and him and the blanket were gone. We've had sorcerers here and there, but no one's ever found the right magic. Either to find the person who brought us here, or to find our way back home. They say that those who remain turn their attention to the moon. They thought that if they studied the skies, they might find the sorcerer, or find their way back to that city.
She kind of shrugs.
That is a fascinating story.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Perhaps when these ones reach the ziggurat, if we are inside where the sun does not shine, the Rua could, and I gesture towards her, come out to examine things alongside these ones. Perhaps
She
there
nods.
may be things the Rua will understand better than these ones.
Maybe. It's possible. I'll give it a try. Just,
She reaches out and she goes to like punch you on the shoulder, and your body, you feel it. There's like an impact when she bumps you with her tiny fist, and it's cold to the touch.
I sway a little bit.
just,
The Rua is here.
yeah, I guess so.
I give her a little Karn smile.
Just try not to get dusted while you're in there. I don't know what's gonna happen if that happens. Well, aside from me being really pissed off.
There is not much this one remembers, but this one does remember that it is very hard to kill this one.
I think I hitched myself to the right horse. Figuratively speaking, I know you're not a horse.
I give her a thumbs up. This one
Sure.
could become a horse.
Like right now?
His eyes start to flick as the player does a diagnostic check. This one needs to rest first.
All right, so as you decide whether or not to horse this late into the evening, um, Rua's conversation with you lapses into a sort of comfortable silence. She knows you have to rest, and she's content to stargaze as you think about this temple and potentially deploying her to help you look around and the story that she wove. I'm going to pull away from Karn as I cross off one thing off my list. And we're going to catch up on Verdi. So, in the middle of camp, you had returned Monty back to the group of carousing and cajoling young adventurers that he has been. Whining and dining is too nice of a phrase. They're carousing, they're laughing, they're knocking each other around, sharpening their weapons, enjoying what's left of the Tej.
Men being men.
Men being men and women being men. Um, warriors being
Men.
warriors. These
Men
are not
fights.
rangers. They're grunts. They're meatheads. And you've been a hunter. You've been with the guild. This is really close to that kind of group. It's familiar, and it's maybe not for you so much.
No, but it does make him just the slightest bit of homesick. Just a little.
Slightest bit of homesick. So as you kind of push that feeling aside, Monty goes back to his people, and you find that you are again alone. Well, aside from Natasha, she does not leave your side. As long as the day has been, she is still stalwart and occasionally brushes up against you.
I give her a pet, and I try and scope around to see where Narixus might be, because I don't think he'd be asleep yet.
Absolutely not. Give me just a quick perception check.
Verdi's fairly certain the guy just never sleeps.
Could be. Maybe he's a warlock. We'll find out.
As I forget to pull Verdi's dice out. Uh, 27.
Okay. So your keen tiefling eyes pierce through the darkness, and you find that there's a central bonfire at this caravan circle. And a number of tents are pitched nearby, but mostly there are stumps and places to sit and people. You find many small groups are gathered together, some of them inventorying items, some of them performing maintenance on carts, and you do see that among these groups is the tall, slender-necked, black-scaled dragonborn. Cape at his back, he almost blends into the shadows cast by the flames. But you do see that he is going over, meeting with various people, looking at clipboards and checking numbers, and occasionally looking over his shoulder once or twice. He does seem to move with an air of caution and care, as he moves in relative silence, but you find him easily enough.
Alright, I will do as I do and make my approach, knowing full well that he will see me on the way.
And so you approach from the front, and his stark blue eyes catch yours for a moment. He tucks his clipboard into his cloak and approaches. Blackguard. Welcome. It is good to see you in good health.
You too. I heard word that there are some rangers that didn't come back.
He inclines his head and nods. Frankly, I'm surprised to see that you have returned first. A number of our rangers have been delayed. All have been accounted for in time, except for one group. He moves to his clipboard and checks things briefly, flipping over from one page to another. And he squints slightly. Yes, one of the Beastmasters. I think you would recognize. Audrey Birchwood had led this group. There were 3 in all. Audrey Birchwood, Alva Bronwyn, and Clark Sinclair. It is somewhat concerning. Audrey is seasoned. They should have left some trace of themselves by now. Granted, the jungle is a dangerous place and delays do happen. We were in no position to go scouting looking for them now. Come first light, we'll send another party.
Well, the trailhead has not been very busy. We have mostly been unscathed. I could maybe ask my group to see if we could just scope out the area and maybe find them or signs of them.
He inclines his head and nods, and you see the one you mentioned that the path ahead seems to be all clear. There's a furrow in his brow, and his blue eyes grow slightly intense. He's concerned, and you've been working with him long enough to see this little twitch, this little tell. He brings a knuckle to his snout and nods slowly. Look, concerning. If I could impose upon you, it would be greatly appreciated if you could find hide or hair, some sign of them. As well as perhaps anything that may have delayed them.
Pretty odd, so I can do that. Which area did you last see them?
He gestures for you to bring out your map.
Yeah, and that's what he'll do.
Okay. So, as he looks the map over and looks at your area of search, he marks the potential areas nearby.
A new quest has been added. Check your map for details.
Check your map for details.
Basically.
And he points out a general vicinity, roughly 4 to 8 hours travel ahead of you. The jungle is dark. It's more dangerous this time of night. The undead presence is still further south, however. Moving through these lands in darkness is more unsafe than during the day. If you do choose to go in this direction, do be careful.
I am aware, and if anything's out there that got them, it might come to camp, so it might be best for us to go out to see if there is anything nearby.
That is my concern. I'll send for our defenders to create a perimeter quietly. I'll also spread the word of potential visitors during the night. It's a little too early to sow paranoia among the ranks, but a healthy amount of caution, I think, is necessary.
I agree.
So, as you make note and make a plan of action, Nyrixus, he looks at his clipboard, he makes a couple of notes, and after that moment, nods back at you. during this time, Alina, I'm assuming you have become restless and are beginning to wander through camp.
Yeah, it takes about 10 seconds for Alina to be like, well, if I'm not sleeping, I need to find something to do. So yeah, she's gonna go flop on Uncle Nori.
So, Verdi, while you're having this conversation, as it comes to like a close, you start to hear the clunking of half plate. What's left of Alina's half plate, I imagine,
she's wearing,
from, like,
like-
the waist down.
Yeah,
you've
she's
got
wearing
your-
like her
your skirt
legs.
on. So just like totally casual on the top, and then just metal from the waist down. You see Alina approaching you and Nerixus, looking bored.
Yeah, she's gonna flop down next to Norix, yes, and go, Uncle Nori, I'm bored. Do you have watches or something on that clipboard? And she's just gonna aggressively peek at his clipboard.
You peek at the clipboard and you see that there is just the day's events. There's a head count. There's a inventory count. There's a at first glance you note the those who have been injured throughout the day. Those currently in triage. He doesn't like shy away from it, but he does look to Verdi and cocks a brow slightly. Well, there are multiple watches. I believe the Ranger Vidar here was interested in searching for a number of people who have not yet returned to camp.
Verdi, would you like a meat shield?
Yes.
Fantastic, I'll get my flail.
Verdi, Nerixus nods. It would seem that some of your party is willing and able.
I had a feeling.
If you do run into trouble, be sure to leave the appropriate marks for us to find.
Of course.
And he nods. Vidar, Maria, if you need me before you leave, let me know if I can do anything.
Pretty nod and maybe the first time.
Maybe like
With
the
that,
second.
With that, Nerixus turns away from your group, and there's a little bit of a flourish of his cape as he makes his way toward other groups, finishing the nightly preparations of a sort. Verdi, you have a party of one. A party of two if you count Natasha.
Okay. Has anyone else gone to sleep?
I don't know, I can make the muffler if you would like.
I mean, if they're already asleep, I don't want to bother wake them. This is gonna take some time.
Alright,
Maybe.
I will go get the rest of my armor on and maybe my flail, and I will see who is awake in that direction, and I'll point towards Jean's tent.
Alright. So, you two fan out and begin to enlist who you can enlist. I believe it was mentioned in party chat that a number of you have already gone to sleep. So Karn and Roar, you guys would be in your sentry's rest. Biff, you had decided to rest for the evening. Leah, I believe, was preparing to rest for the night, which leads Mbanje to his own devices. Oh God, help us. As well as Alina and Incognitus. Incognitus, you're still feeling pretty revved up from the day's travel. Lots of slow walking. Lots of not hitting enough things.
Ahem. Vanya's also.
Vanya, I said Alina.
Jeez.
Vanya is also.
If Leah was
starting ready
turning
to go.
in, then Vanya would probably start to head slowly towards the boat, since that's where Edith was staying, kind of looking over the notes in her book.
Likely going to be hanging around the med tent and applying auras and helping out.
That's the way to buff. Just trance and let your aura help out everyone else.
Basically.
Elves are OP.
It's not just the elf thing. It's more to it than that.
No, I know. I'm just being a dick.
Okay. So, um, Verdi, you form a party. You approach the boat. You find some of your allies are there. You find that Vanya is awake and Mbanje is awake. Though you don't know much about Mbanje, you know that they are capable as a fighter. And I think Incognitus is probably hanging out around the V team.
Is the Jaggy awake?
The Jaggy is they're like cats. They kind of nap throughout the day, so they don't really have the nocturnal diurnal thing going on. So yeah, the Jaggy would probably be awake, looking for its chance to escape.
You can use the Jaggy as bait for whatever the hell took those other rangers.
Hell yeah.
Alright, well, Verdi will express the concerns of missing people, that there's 3 of them, and one of them's a seasoned veteran, that they all kind of just fell off the radar, so it's going to be an all-nighter. And he's basically going to ask if anybody's very good with tracking or locating or anything like that and wants to help him.
And Bondia raised a hand. I can totally join in that venture.
I don't think I am good at either, but I might know a few spells that could be useful.
Spells work. Bonji, what do you do exactly?
I smoke and know things.
He is good with animals in nature.
That is much more helpful, thank you.
So you smoke like you breathe fire, or
Fire breath is one of the mixtures I make.
I mean, I've seen what you can do in combat. Those octopi are very impressive.
Oh yes, he summons octopi.
Octopi.
You know, with the
I
tentacles.
thought it was octopuses.
Is it octopuses or octopi?
The etymology of the word is kind of debated. So I just tend to say multiple octopus in the plural.
You know who would know? A wizard. We should wake up a wizard.
That seems clunky.
Maybe less magic and more strength.
What's wrong with magic?
And Bunjay can turn into animals like Karn too, so like it's pretty useful.
That is useful.
And I am kind of a wizard.
You are kind of a wizard.
Besides, this would be a good training time for the Jaggy here. If I can get him to help me track, that'll make it even more useful.
Verdi just makes a
Right.
face at him.
We should let the Jaggy go and see if he can track the missing rangers.
Meanwhile, the Jaggy is panting like a lapdog, glancing around at each person as they speak. Chest kind of rapidly rising and falling. It looks pumped.
Okay.
Verdi's just gonna turn and walk away a little bit and place his hands on his hips and
Was there anyone else that might be helpful?
referring to Alina and Vanya since they had their little party.
Where's Incognitus?
Oh yes, she is a wrecking ball of a little fighter.
You know what's better than one meat shield? 2 meat shields.
3 meat shields. And I gesture one of my skeletons forward with the big shield.
I don't think he qualifies. He doesn't have a lot of meat, but
Bone shield?
bone shield.
Okay. Well, we could ask Incognitus if they would like to come, if they are not busy or sleeping.
Alright. Alina's gonna run off to go find Incognitus, which is a terrible idea because Alina's perception is like 0, so someone should probably go with her.
I was gonna say, do my ears start ringing yet?
Yeah, you're gonna start ringing. You haven't wandered too far away from your discussion with Mbanje earlier, so you are within at least spitting distance of the boat.
Yeah, as Alina runs past her.
Oh god.
How soon
Probably.
I was gonna say, what role to like catch her?
To catch her?
Like, I'm not tall enough to like clothesline her or anything, but like just catch her hip and just spin her around,
yeah.
like wrong direction.
Grab her by the belt.
Yeah, you just give me a strength check, athletics, to just kind of slow her down. I just want to see how it turns out.
The
Oh, what is
14
it?
athletics.
14 athletics? Yeah, I mean,
Sheet is a weird sheet.
yeah, there's a little bit of a whump as Alina. You don't quite notice Incognitus where she kind of reaches out and catches you by the hip with a thunk.
Oh shit, I found her. Faster than usual.
It looks like he found you.
Yeah, something. Same thing. One thing can be 2 things.
How soon were we planning to get onto this expedition?
Maybe gather supplies if there are any, but I don't think I need much. Does anyone else need much?
Would you say about an hour or so?
Hour seems right.
Excellent. I think I may have a familiar that will be useful for this expedition. Excuse me. And Vanya's going to go find Stratus and begin to ritual cast Find Familiar so she can switch from Petal to Stratus.
Okay, go look up something real quick.
Alright, well, in that meantime, Verdi will awkwardly explain to Incognitus what is going on.
Incognitus will nod along.
Okay. So Verdi, you and Incognitus go off to find things. Vanya, you search for Stratus, and you actually find him in Frederick's chest, currently stowed away inside of the skeleton's.
Honestly,
cabin.
that was the first place I checked.
Actually,
Actually, wouldn't he be in Jackson's chest since Frederick is the shield guy?
Jackson's chest, yes.
Yep.
You find one of your skeletons has the cat, and you peer around, around trying to find him, and you notice his eyes kind of blink into existence in the dark, lambent, yellow, golden eyes, as they stare at you and watch from a distance.
Ah, there you are. Stratus, I was going to ask you for some things tomorrow, but it appears my companions are going on a late-night expedition, and I was wondering if you would like to accompany me.
His eyes slowly squint.
It involves venturing off into the dark?
The squint tightens a little bit. Have you considered my offer then? the formation of a pact.
What would such a thing do to Petal?
He kind of glances askance. Nothing she can't bear to endure. She'll simply be shunted out of alignment from you as I take alignment with you. She may choose to remain here if she desires.
Would I be able to switch back with her if I need help during the day?
He kind of glances up and away. Yes, I suppose technically you could. I can't understand why you would want to.
Do you
Yes,
want
if-
to trot about in the sunlight?
His eyes look up and away again. I suppose I don't. It's rather quite cozy among the bones.
So think of it this way. I spend some time with you. You get to walk about in the moonlight, in the darkness, and go over some... And I hold up my book and kind of waggle it enticingly. Intriguing new discoveries.
Roll me a perception check.
Perception.
Insight, sorry.
Insight on the cat.
His eyes become saucers, and you see very clearly that he is enticed.
And
follows the
then, during the day, when I know it is uncomfortable for you, you get to recline in whichever spot you choose. Jackson does not seem to mind at all. And Petal gets to bear the brunt of that unconscionable sun.
There's a long pause. As he seems to chew on the information, and occasionally he glances at that book. And after several moments, he begins to crawl out from the skeleton's chest onto the collarbone before perching on the shoulder. You see, as he sits there, his hat manifests onto his head. Just sort of expanding out, creating more shade atop his head.
I'll hold my hand out to him to let him sniff and invite pets, and I will pet him.
He reaches out with his face and brushes his cheek against the side of your hand. How many attunement slots do you have currently?
Oh. I think that's an interesting thing to keep track of now. I have one slot open.
Only one slot open?
Yeah.
He draws back in just a moment. Oh, excellent. And he looks to you. With our bond formed, you will feel a slight pull, a slight strain, as though you're being pulled in multiple directions at once. Do not fight this feeling. Vanya, will you abide to a pact with me until such a time as we deem it no longer convenient for us to maintain?
Based upon the understanding that such a pact will not yield in undue harm to either of us, yes.
Of this I can guarantee. He closes his eyes and brushes his cheek against your palm again. And you feel him purr. You feel a tug on the center of your mass, just beneath your chest, that sends your heart into this quickened flutter. Something feels different as your third attunement slot is now occupied by the sprite Stratus.
Interesting. Does it still require the Find Familiar ritual?
Negative.
Oh. Excellent. I'll scoop Stratus up and cradle him as in my arms as I go to find Petal and explain what's going on.
Okay. One moment. Okay, you now have Stratus' stat block in your pets.
Yay!
You make your way to Petal and you begin to explain the situation. You find that Petal is still being chaotic, currently residing inside of your shrunken cauldron. And just kind of meandering around the boat as the cauldron walks about.
I'll sit down with Petal and explain that I'm going to take Stratus out for a little while and that Petal should stay here and catch some rest for the night. Don't stray too far from the ship.
Roll me a persuasion check.
One second.
Yeah, you have an ability for that.
I'm checking if it's an ability that adds to it or lets me re-roll it.
Sorcerer's Guidance.
I thought I had it on here. Ah, Magical Guidance. Yeah, I'm gonna spend a sorcery point to re-roll that.
Okay. +8 to persuasion. You're like almost a paladin. 15.
Oh, you leave me by myself and make me stay here. Oh, this is terrible.
I start
okay.
scratching her behind the ears and under the chin, and
Oh, okay, this is better.
You manage to console her. It takes a few minutes. Of the hour that you had promised to Verdi, what happened with Stratus took minutes. Consoling Petal takes a little while longer. But after a short while, you are convinced that Petal will not cause mischief and will remain in the boat until at least the morning. At least the morning.
okay. With my familiar situation sorted, I'm going to go look for Verdi since I think I finished a little earlier than the hour.
Okay, so you make your way to catch up with Verdi and the others, and it doesn't take you guys long to gather together. You've got Vanya and Verdi and Alina and Mbanje and Incognitus.
So Vanya walks up and she's got a cat in a hat.
She's got a cat in a hat perched on her shoulder.
That is the most adorable thing ever.
The cat squints at you.
Vanya grinned. He is so charming, is he not? Is he not?
Very. And she'll offer a hand for inspection. She knows better than to try to pet cats.
Fair enough.
I feel like that's a list, and she's learned the hard way a couple times now.
You see a rather emotive cock of the brow on the cat's face, and his ears, they don't fold back, His tail does this slow wave of a wiggle before he leans in and brushes his cheek against the back of your hand. It seems that Stratus has accepted you? Question mark.
This one is not as gregarious as Petal,
He
but he is
is
still a good kitty.
he is a very dignified fellow.
That earns a nod. As Stratus closes his eyes, inclines his head. Finally, someone gets it. And you hear the cat speak.
You know what? It's been a long day. I'm not even going to question that. I've already got enough on my plate that is a talking cat. So, we're going to find some rangers?
A talking cat in a hat.
I think my mother told me a story like this.
Oh yeah, something about Grimmelkins and not to trust them.
Well, if everyone's ready to go, Verdi will check his map, check the compass, and be on his way.
Okay. You guys have any kind of preparation before you head out into the woods?
Vanya will get a lantern from someone. I'm sure that's easy enough to come by.
It's a lantern. Yeah, you can find one easy enough. There's torches, there are lanterns. You get a hold of a lantern and a pint of oil. A pint can burn for 8 hours. You can stop at any time.
I nod as I return to the group. The place where we are going, how far away is it?
Verdi will take out his map and point out to the areas that Narixus
Yeah,
has
the surrounding areas between 4 and 8 hours of travel. It's a search. They could have gotten really far. They could have gotten not very far. You're looking for leads.
We are trying to find anything, any signs of them, or whatever's out there that may have gotten them, or them themselves, hopefully making their way to camp.
In that case, I will light the lantern, but if we need to move a little more sneakily, I may have something prepared for that.
Well, I do have a spell for that, as well as very good hearing. So if something comes up, I will let you know.
I've been looking at lists, and Mbaji does not have dog vision, but some of these beasts do. So Mbaji is still gonna grab a lantern as well.
All right. Yeah, you do not have dark vision. Do you have the dark vision spell?
I believe I do. Let me check.
All right, yeah, you can get a hold of a lantern, or you can follow after Vanya's lantern. As long as you guys stick close together, you will not have to worry about being blind. Those of you who do not have dark vision, in dim light, as the light at the edge of a torchlight, in dim light you have disadvantage on your perception checks to see. It also goes for investigation checks. Those of you with dark vision, if you are in dim light, you're a-okay. If you are in total darkness, that counts as dim light for you, which means if you don't have a light source, you'll be rolling investigation at disadvantage. Just to keep in mind when it comes to light sources and spells. But if you stay inside the bright light, you're good.
We good.
So, you guys begin to venture out into the dark of the jungle, making your way into the woods. Verdi, you made mention of a spell that would help you stay quiet. Are you referring to Pass Without a Trace?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. That spell lasts for, what, an hour?
I think so.
Alright. You can determine when into your trek you'd like to cast it.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Knowing that it'll take multiple hours to go out and look around, you can determine when you'd like to cast it.
Okay.
Vanya, you made mention of a spell that might be helpful to you. Is that something that you would like to cast now, or deeper into the wood?
Nope, it lasts only for an hour, so I'm holding it in my back pocket until we need it.
Hold it in the back pocket. Okay. Something that you learn as you begin to search is that Stratus does have dark vision and does remain perched on your shoulder to remain vigilant and keep watch. I believe Verdi and Incognitus and Alina all have dark vision.
Yes.
Incognitus does not have dark vision.
Oh, they took that away from halflings. The bastards.
I actually have dark vision as well, so when the light catches
yeah.
my eyes just right, they get that kind of like yellow gleam that you see on certain nocturnal animals.
Oh, that's horrifying. I love it. Okay. So, you enter the woods with a torch, a lantern lit, remaining close together, careful not to make too much noise, careful not to spread out too far away from one another. The surrounding woods are dark and inky as the canopy starts to snuff out the starlight above. Shadows creep toward the group from all directions, shapes twisting in the dark from the torchlight, the lantern light that flickers against the brush, the trees, the breeze. You guys travel for... This music is far too intense.
I was about to say, it's very like
I know.
action music.
I'm like, what kind of mood are we setting here?
What kind of mood are you going for?
Racing into the jungle, weapons bared.
Come around the corner as the king of fucking feathers.
Ready
God,
to fuck
yeah.
around and find out.
Oh God.
Okay, that's
We're still pretty far from the King of Feathers. We'll be fine.
You're still far enough from the King of Feathers, you think. Your travel is long and quiet, and for the first hour, nothing quite seems to catch your attention. Nothing quite seems to draw your focus. You hear the occasional sound of a night bird, an owl hoots, the distant baying of a howling wolf. Once in a while, you think you hear the sound of a grunt or a growl off in the distance. Let's see. Those of you who have been put through the ringer today, Verdi and Alina. As it goes well past bedtime, approaching midnight, I would like you both to make me Constitution saving throws. Alina, your aura does offer the +5 bonus to this.
I actually fared pretty well during that fight. I don't think I got hit at all.
That's an 11.
That's an 11.
I don't know why it says 7, but it should be an 11.
And you said a Constitution save?
Yep.
+5 for aura?
There's a +5 for the aura, yes.
Alright, so then that's 17.
17. Okay. Both of you managed to continue on with your trek. Though the night is running long and the jungle is starting to get kind of cold during the evening, you both feel, fit enough to continue. Just getting kind of sleepy. Alina, you've pulled your fair share of all-nighters. You're a port kid, of course you have. You're starting to see the little kind of like flitting, the sense of motion in the corners of your eyes. Occasionally a shadow flits past. You see movement. You hear something that you're pretty sure you didn't hear. You're battle fatigue and wearing heavy armor in the fucking jungle for the whole day. It's starting to take its toll, but you're still functional. You ain't got to go to bed yet. You're still good.
So, being an hour out, can I roll to see if I can find any trace that they may have left in their
Yeah.
wake?
Yeah, you can make an investigation or survival check. Does anyone have investigation or survival?
Yeah, and Banje.
All right, and Banja, you can aid if you so choose.
Okay, that's a 19 for survival.
Yeah, they'll help. Him and a Jaggy. Halfway training the Jaggy to do the specific task. Halfway looking himself.
All right.
For what it's worth,
Verdi, you could-
Lena is also trained in survival.
No shit. Okay.
She has
so-
she has the Outlander background.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna say I'm pretty sure everybody in this little walking party has survival because so does the tiny
Jesus
ball of
Christ.
angry.
I don't.
Okay. You don't-
Vanya
you get-
doesn't.
Y'all brought a Taurus and a pretty one too. All right, so you, Verdi, first you roll advantage on that survival check. And Banje, you can roll animal handling with advantage because there's someone else is surviving with you.
Alright, it's still a 19 because I rolled worse on the second roll.
That's a nat 1.
He
That's
hates
a nat
it.
2. He hates it. Okay. And Banje, what's your
Dragon
AC?
just bolts into the jungle.
What's your AC in Banje?
12.
12. So as you're trying to reach around and direct this creature, your hand gets a little too close to its face. You kind of move in the wrong way, and it instinctually snaps at you, rolling a 16 to hit. You take 1 point of piercing damage as it kind of bites on, realizes that it bit you, and slowly opens its jaw and licks the wound.
Oh shit, it's learning.
Yeah, I'll take that one on the chin or on the hand as it is, little buddy.
Is Mbanje bleeding?
A little tiny bit, yeah.
Did that get the taste of your blood?
Probably. But it's okay, because Roar made sure he knew that I was the alpha.
Is that why it bit you?
It was a mistake. I startled it.
We
You would hit
walked
me.
for an hour.
You would hit me too if I accidentally shoved you and you didn't expect it.
No, I would not hit you.
Okay. So, Verdi, while you're searching and with the aid of your allies, you manage to find a Commission Ranger marker. You find a mark on one of the trees written in a green chalk. Why green? Because those with dark vision can see in shades of gray, and the particular hue looks white against the tree in total darkness. The symbol basically points south due south, straight south. You knock off one of the potential directions, eliminating the southeast quadrant. You know you're on the right path if you continue south.
Was that is clever?
If you get lost, you want to be found.
Alright, with that, I will direct south. Actually, how fresh does that mark look? Can I get an idea of how long ago it was put up there?
With your 19, today at the very least today, you estimate it's going to be investigation to check the symbol itself.
Okay. That's a 23.
23. 11:30 now, so this would have been earlier in the day. Looking at the chalk, the way that it's kind of clotted over from the moisture in the air. It's absorbed the moisture. You think this was maybe mid-afternoon, around 3 or 4. Or 2 or 3, sorry.
With that knowledge, can I deduce how far off they might be from here? If they continue to travel until
Give me an insight check with advantage. Falling back on what you know about camp protocol and how the commission do, you have a time frame to work with, so you have a very good chance of figuring it out.
Right, that's a 19.
19, absolutely. That's definitely high enough. You wager that maybe they would have broken for a short rest not far from here. Based on the rate of travel that they were going, how long ago this was, maybe an hour, 2 hours out, they would have camped, boiled some water, had some rations before heading back. You start to formulate a plan to look for the signs of a waypoint, of a short camp.
Okay. Verdi will, even though he's quiet thinking about this, he will catch himself being quiet and then explain what's going on and what the next thing that they have to find should be to get a better idea of where they might have gone.
Verdi spends like 10 minutes investigating the ruin, and everyone's just staring at him, waiting.
Yes. Basically, yes. Because he's so used to not doing things with people.
Absolutely. Let's see, what time is it now? 8:58. We're approaching 9 o'clock. Do you guys object to a 5-minute break?
I'm good.
Sure.
Cool. Gotta tend to Oliver. He's starting to get real fussy. So we'll come back in like 5 minutes, and hopefully he will have his shit together.
I don't think Oliver will have his shit together.
All right. See you guys in 5.
Whenever I hear Oliver, I just imagine that's the Jaggy.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
The Ikadu is almost common, like when Birdie said, "Well, I wouldn't attack you if you push me." Like, yeah, and you're smarter than a dog. So I'm guessing that we're exploring the hex that no longer has the X on it.
Moving down towards it, I think.
Okay. In the next hex.
All right, I'm back.
I'm also back. What a
Welcome back.
coinkydink.
Welcome back.
We got Oliver to stop crying for now. Everyone here?
Good.
Yep.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Let's dive back in then. So, Verdi, you make a plan, and with your companions to aid you, you find your way back toward the south. As you're all searching together, and as you all have survival, eventually you do all together start to find the sign of footprints. They are not fresh. They would appear to be paw prints of a canine, which leads credence to the idea that Beastmaster Audrey went through here, and along with their animal companion. You find your way about a mile or two away from the river and find yourselves on a pathway through the woods. One moment.
I do not own any token with vision in this scene. This is a very big scene.
Huge.
I see everything gray, but I'm not sure on that. Oh wait, everything's just really slow. My connection's been really laggy tonight.
I do not have permission to move Stratus.
One moment.
Do you deserve permission?
I suppose that's up to him.
Okay. It was the wrong Stratus.
Still can't move him.
Oh,
When I try to drag him out from the sidebar, it says I don't have permission to create a new token for him.
oh no, he should be next to you.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. Okay.
Rob's working with CC because her stuff's not working.
Also, I should probably say that retroactively, I put on the red. After making sure they weren't cursed items, I put on the red cap. They took those.
Do you know how hard it is to detect a curse? You put on the boots! Nothing happens with the boots.
Had them checked over by somebody with enough levels to figure that out.
I'm having issue.
I am having issues too. It involves a cat in my face.
Best issues.
Doo, doo, doo.
Yeah, it seems like Cece's machine bottlenecked because of a combination of straining and tabs going haywire, but we'll get it up and running shortly. Theater of the Mind exists for a reason. Okay, so you find yourselves in the dark of the forest as the jungle opens up into a pathway. The starlight and the moonlight begin to create a dim ambient in the ground below, even those of you without dark vision can start to see the details in the area around you. As I understand it, Vanya, you have a torch or lantern?
Lantern.
Lantern. So you are producing light right now. I believe it's 30-30 for lanterns. That's kind of bright, but lanterns are kind of bright. So you're producing light until you decide to snuff your lantern out.
Sounds good.
And say, wow, it's so bright, it's bleaching out some of the tokens.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like that. That's a little better. All right. The path that you find yourself on is not well worn, but it is defined, as though people had passed through here. Some of it does look to be as though it was produced naturally. Some of it looks like it has been recently cleared, perhaps for the use of the caravan. You see that there are a number of large stones and flat expanses of land ahead of you, making it look like a rather pleasant walking trail, all things considered. You can also see that there are plenty of places where one could hide or lie in wait. Let's see, can I get a perception check from everyone present?
The only reason Alina rolled that high is because she's feeling a little twitchy.
Is there still an aura helping things?
That's only for save throws.
Okay.
Poor Stratus, he doesn't like the light.
Yes, Stratus shies away from the light a bit.
Hissing intensifies.
Oh, do I have observer you can block?
Cecil's machine is fucked, so he was like, well, we're gonna have to play with that Cece while her machine gets back up and running. We've got plenty of people who can help. Let's see. Let's see if I can make this go through my speakers. Okay, yeah. Log in on your phone. Cece's gonna log in on her phone, and I can make her character sheet. That's fine. So, let's see. 15, 12, 13, 5, and did Verdi get to roll? For Verdi.
What do I need to roll?
I already got you.
I
Perception.
have dice here.
All right, roll
I have
dice.
a plus 12 in perception, so 19 plus 12 is
Obscene.
Obscene.
31.
Okay, we got rogue numbers here, people. All right, so Alina and Incognitus and Vanya, you Dom, did you roll for Mbanje?
I did 17.
17. And Mbanje, you all notice in the distance what appears to be a scrap of fabric along the path ahead of you. It looks like it's part of a camping set or a piece of a tabard. It's definitely fresh. It hasn't been weathered away by the elements of the jungle.
CC's forehead.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that.
Are you trying to push talk?
No, I was trying to mute people. You and Dom, so I didn't have to listen to them. I don't know why. I don't know why my thing is open. How do I shut that off? That button, well, it doesn't show up. Boring, so I don't know where the button is for the camera.
It's gone.
No, see, if I swipe up, it's gonna go back to the other screen. See?
Funny, look, Rob just slowly leaned into camera view, and then the window went dead.
It's not booting up. Gonna have to look at my computer.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway.
Can you use push talk?
I don't.
Okay, we have something working and it's still not moving. Okay, cool. All right, something is working. So, as mentioned, you find yourselves along a path. Those of you who rolled a 20 or lower, you notice this gathering of cloth and detritus in the distance. You see signs of signs of essentially civilization. Pieces of material, some footprints, some loose cut branches, even a loose fire log appears to be somewhat scattered in the area. Verdi, with your perception check, you hear the distant crackle of embers far off the beaten path, as well as a very, very faint whining noise. CC is returning in momentarily.
Oh, sorry, Jesus Christ. Heather, do you mind streaming? I think me streaming has fucked up my connection with my computer.
Yeah, sure.
Please and thank you.
Much obliged.
So I hear whining.
You hear whining and you hear the faint crackling of what sounds like a fire or embers. You hear the popping of a campfire, very faint in the distance.
All right, I'm gonna pop. I'm gonna assume we haven't been noticed. I'm gonna pop past without a trace.
All right, you cast Pass Without a Trace. The shadows begin to coalesce and wrap around you and your party, dampening your footsteps, concealing your presence, despite the lamp that Vanya leads.
Does Verdi signal that it's time for stealth?
Yeah, Verdi will quietly explain that there's something ahead. It might be the party that they're looking for, or it might be something else, so it's best to be quiet
Okay.
about it.
So in that case, I'm going to douse the lantern. And then on the center of the lantern where the wick is, I'm going to cast Ghost Light.
Okay. Ghost light.
So-
Touch one object that is no larger than 10 feet. It produces light. That only the specified... Okay, only creatures you specify during casting. So, you produce this ghostly, pale blue light in the lantern, which doesn't seem to reflect off of the nearby leaves. Despite that, your allies can still see in the dark around you.
I'm so glad that actually worked.
Does it usually know?
This is the first time I tried it.
Oh,
Oh, also, only we can see the light. No one else can.
Oh, that's a very important distinction to make.
Is that Sandy?
Alright, well, now that we're ready, I guess Verdi will make a signal to quietly move on ahead.
Alright, you move ahead. Do you follow the path? Do you duck through the nearby trees and brush?
I'm gonna definitely go through like the bush and stuff. kind of like
Sure.
slowly make my way towards where the whining and the fire sounds are.
Okay. The sounds that your keen tiefling ears picked up are very, very distant. You hear the sound is far off to the east of you.
Okay. Should I just move my token until you tell
Yeah.
me to stop? Okay.
Go for it. You can move 30 feet per round, unless you decide to jog forward.
I'm going to try. Why do I keep getting weird updates. I'm going to start moving forward quietly with my crew.
All right. So you move stealthily. Verdi, you kind of break off of the path and begin to inch toward the tree line. The first part of your trek, you see no rustling. You don't seem to trigger the attention of any one creature as you move. Your allies continue following behind you. Alina, as you follow Verdi and skirt closer to the tree line, your attention is broken as a sudden "Ah!" echoes through the tree beside you. You hear the caw of a raven and the fluttering of wings as a black bird bursts out of the trees and flies off into the night sky.
I know.
As you sulk and hang your head, chided by the local bird life, that brief, startling sound, it gives way to silence in the woods. There's a very faint rustling in the grass, tall grass, the bushes and the trees, but it's, after closer inspection, seems to be nothing more than wind. Verdi, you continue along the path, and you see before you there are scraps of fabric. They appear to be the makings of what would have been a tent or a small temporary domicile. They are in pieces. You approach to get a closer look. Your allies following behind you. With your passive perception and with the huffing and puffing of your feline behind you, her nostrils flaring, you both pick up the scent of blood.
Something happened here.
You see that there is a marred, bloody handprint on the fabric. A few splotches here and there. Not a bloodbath, but someone definitely lost blood here.
Can I see if maybe there is blood, like, along the pathway to follow, or if I can hear any of that whining again?
Roll survival or investigation as far as the whining goes. Currently, to your ears, it has gone silent.
It's a nat 20 on survival.
Nat 20 on survival. So you do not see blood here. You do not see blood on the surrounding area. However, you do see from the tree line a zigzagging series of droplets. That head in that direction. Either toward the tree line or from the tree line. Your attention is drawn to a nearby bush. It seems that something bloodied had moved through this area. You know that you'd probably investigate that area for more signs.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause, mention what I see, because Verdi has a bad habit of just going, and make my way over there.
All right.
I'm gonna try and stay within about 15 feet of Verdi.
Go ahead. Following after the tiefling.
I don't want to give away any stealth that they might have, but also at the same time, like, if shit goes down, I want to be able to
Charging distance.
meet shield. Yeah.
Meet shielding distance. Gotcha. Alright, so, Verdi, you find there are traces of blood against this bush. You can roll an investigation check. There's no light source around you. It would be a disadvantage.
You said investigation?
Mhm.
That's not bad.
11. 11 is going to be enough. A small creature had brushed against this bush. You see that there are more signs of bleeding blood that lead deeper into the wood. You find what look to be paw prints with their claws pointed northward.
Alright, I'm gonna signal north and start moving north.
All right. As you head off in that direction, you move away from the brush. I'd like everyone to roll me a perception check.
I got another nat 20.
3
Okay.
seems wildly appropriate.
So that's
Wildly
a
appropriate.
32 total.
Okay. Verdi. So you see everything. Incognitus, you're not far behind.
I was gonna
Vanya,
say,
you're not far behind either.
is that actually part of the map? Do I see that?
Beyond the map.
Yeah, this little thing that's a little square bear trap. Is that part of your map or part of the map?
Oh. I forgot to remove that. You actually do see that there is a small bear trap there, yes. It appears as though it is recently made. It is not rusted. It looks like it is set for a perimeter defense. Someone had attempted to defend this area. So, let's see. Dirty 20 for Mbanje.
Tanya's still back here by me. I'm going to point that out to her and make sure her skeletons don't step on that.
Very fair. So,
Thank you.
You all find the blood spatter, and as you look ahead, Alina, you're a little distracted. You're seeing that there's blood, something was hurt. You try and keep your eyes on the tiefling. Your head's kind of swimming right now. There are things flitting in the corners of your eye. You're pretty sure that whatever juju Verdi's using to pass without a trace is fucking with you because you're starting to see shadows. The rest of you start to see what was a camp. Bits and pieces of it have been scattered, and it looks like small wooden fixtures have been smashed and torn apart. There's part of a tent that looks to have been crushed beneath a large footprint. There are some logs that are gathered around a cleared area, but it looks like everything that had been gathered has been cast and tossed around. It looks like a camp was here, and then a tornado made of fists came through and fucked it. Verdi, with your nat 20, you see that there is a small fire pit with a few embers still lit. Beside it sits, or rather lays, the figure of a matted, small creature, four-legged. From a distance it's hard to tell, but with your keen tiefling eyes, you discern that it is a canine. They appear to be wearing what looks to be barding of some kind, though it is torn and punctured in places, as though a large set of canines had pierced into its back. Its body shakes and its tail is low, and it is doing its best to stay hidden and stay silent as your group approaches. The trail of blood leads to it. With your nat 20, you recognize this dog. You know his name is Humphrey Dogart. And he is a good boy. In very bad shape. As you get closer with your animal companion, you do see that his haunches raise, and he, though weak, looks ready to bolt. I'm going to need you to roll an animal handling check.
I'm also going to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
You said it was Humphrey, right?
Humphrey.
Humphrey, it's okay. This is help.
All right, roll an animal handling check with advantage. Do you instruct Natasha to do anything during this time?
Just to stay behind me.
Okay.
$27.
27. As you mention help and you start to quite literally speak Humphrey's language, the creature slumps slightly and looks at you. His drooping face touches the ground as his eyes turn up, and you see the whites of them as he gives you this sad, tired, exhausted expression. Oh God, oh God. Oh, help. Roger said to find help. Your help.
Yes, I am help.
And I am going to take out a masterwork potion of healing to give him. That I've been holding on to for quite some time.
Okay. So you approach the dog and you get close and you uncork it and you bring this bottle of shimmering red liquid to the dog's face, and you see that this creature is hanging on by a thread. Its left leg looks to be smashed. Around the ankle, it looks as though something had clamped around it and snapped the bone. It would be limping if not for it being laying down. Its back is pierced with what looks to be a massive bite mark taken on it. And you bring the potion to the dog's face, and it seems to know. Humphrey seems to understand what's happening, and he goes and he begins to lick and lap as you pour the potion down his throat. Masterwork potion, what is that, 2d8?
$3d4 plus 2.
3d4 plus 2. Alright, go ahead and roll. Count drops.
Alright, he gets 13 points back.
Holy shit. Okay.
I rolled really well.
This
Alright,
party
so
doesn't
you see
fuck
this-
around with wounded animals.
This party does not fuck around with wounded animals. You see him drink greedily. He's thirsty, and you've given him a goddamn potion, so he's hydrated, and you see the skin and the fur begin to knit back together. You see his ankle kind of twist and pop back into place as his tail begins to wag. He gives you that dopey, frothy mouth doggy smile as he begins to lean in and starts to lick at your face. Not aggressively, but in an instant, the vim and vigor returns to this little creature.
Oh yeah, I'm petting him. I'm telling him it's gonna be okay. Help is here.
And use cannons, you can pet the dog.
Fantastic.
He goes to stand in his own puddle of blood, which he does not seem to be plussed about, as he licks and laps your face and kind of behind the ears, and the tail just continues going. His little collar, there's a small tag that jingles and clinks in relative silence of the jungle. And he begins to gush at you. Oh, they found us. They found us cooking the water. I smelled it. I smelled it first. The ape smell in the woods. Big ape. Big ape. Easy hunt. Oh, so easy. But there were many. So many. And they came all at once. They moved quiet and fast. And then I smelled it. I smelled it. Rotten eggs and smoke. Oh, this wasn't an ape. Not an ape, no. No. It told them what to do. The bigger one, the meaner one. And then one of them hit me. Oh, one of them hit me, and I don't remember. And then I woke up, and Audrey told me to run and find help, and I found help. I found you, your help. I smell blood, and I smelled blood, and I smelled smoke and rotten eggs. And I saw the apes, and they were camping. They were cooking like a people. And there were screams and howls, and I needed to find help, and I needed to help her, and then I ran, and then the ground bit me. And he kind of flinches a little bit, and then snap! And he barks. He barks as he makes the sound. The shiny snapped on my leg, and then I got slow, and then it almost caught me, and it bit me, but I ran, and I found my way back here, and I didn't think there was help. I really didn't think there was help, and then you came, and now you're here.
Oh, we need to find them. Are you brave enough to help us go find them? We will protect you.
Oh, yeah. Yes. He begins to sniff. Then he puts his nose to the ground. Does anyone have a passive perception above 15?
Me?
You? Okay. Incognitus, I'm sure, does, because observant. Incognitus,
I believe.
because you are trained and skilled, and you've been through too much shit to not know better. And Verdi, your keen tiefling ears, you hear the sound of a snap in the woods, and a crunch. And Humphrey speaks up quietly, his tail pointing, as his snout points into the woods. Apes. Looks back to you, Verdi. Apes.
You stay here. We'll take care of them. And Verdi will look back to his companions.
Is Verdi familiar with apes and the smell of smoke and rotting eggs?
Does Verdi
Smoke,
describe it out loud?
Oh yeah, Verdi, I'm assuming that you're relaying this information.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
That sounds like sulfur. Shit. Can I roll a religion check?
What does Alina think it is?
Well, okay, I know what Heather thinks it is. Alina's pretty sure it's a demon. Heather's pretty
She's a paladin.
Yeah. Heather's pretty convinced it's like a Garistro or
Alright.
something.
Alright, roll. You can roll a religion check. I'm going to give you advantage on it. To try to think of what it might be.
That's a natural 20.
That's a nat 20.
We got 2 in the pool. No, 3.
Three in the
We got
pool.
3 in the pool. I put 2 in there.
Does that? Oh my god! Does anyone else want to wager a guess and make a roll?
And Bonjay doesn't know much about things that smell like sulfur. I'm gonna leave it to the other people for story
Okay.
reasons.
She's gonna
Sure.
pet the dog for inspiration.
Oh, definitely fucking petting this dog.
With the
Petting this
many
dog.
miles Incognitus has traveled, I'm fairly certain she has an idea, but
You have an idea.
Vanya has no clue.
Something that smells like rotting eggs and is extremely violent. Incognitus, you can probably wager a guess at it without having to roll. Alina, that 20, you think it's either a demon or a devil. One of the two. Both are associated with brimstone. Something that commands other monsters, commands other beasts, something perhaps similar to an ape in shape. An ape-like entity, a demon, comes to your mind. Figuratively speaking, you recall being warned about these shaggy orangutan-like demons called, I don't want to fuck up this pronunciation, a Barlgura. They are big, they are hairy, they are extremely violent. Where they go, local wildlife, simian life, tends to follow in their violent footsteps. They're brutalistic. They are not too bright.
Yeah, I'll tell the party that is the demon. Yeah, I'll just give them all of that information.
Yeah. You're fairly certain that checks off the boxes of big ape. And that's where you find yourself. Humphrey, as you tell him that you will protect him, he is pulled behind you guys as you form a bit of a wall. And the motion that you make and the sounds that you produce lighten Humphrey's initial bark. That sound of cracking wood, it gets louder. Thump, 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 thump. The sound of heavy footsteps.
I'm gonna say we're still under Pass Valley Trace, so they see Humphrey or hear Humphrey, but they probably don't hear us.
They hear Humphrey, and they are coming to finish the job essentially.
Well, we still get like the drop on them because
yeah,
they're gonna come rushing out of the bushes expecting a dog, and they're gonna have a fucking party.
Essentially, that is what happens. Two large apes emerge from the shadows, leaping out of the brush and out of the bushes. Tall, thick of body, covered in hair with massive forearms. Their eyes are lit with this red light as they look upon the party with surprise, and then their brows furrow. You guys get a surprise round before we dive into initiative.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck them up with my moonbeam arrows.
So I don't see them on the map. I have a lot of dark spaces.
Give me one moment, and I will increase this range.
If the lantern has not been there, that dark shadow is like permanent. There we go.
Yep, they were just beyond the range of the dim light that the thing is producing. But we'll say that they're in dim light so that you're not getting disadvantage when you attack.
I was expecting to come from where the blood trail came from.
Nah, we're fucking surrounded.
Surrounded by NFTs. Good luck.
Oh, fuck, no. Alright, I am going to immediately draw my moonbow and go after the one further up and knock two very pretty white arrows at that fucker's face.
Alright, you draw back and foot. Your fingers tingle as moonlight condenses around the string, forming this long and slender arrow pointing at the tip. It soars through the air.
Alright, does a 16 hit?
Indeed it does.
Sweet.
You catch it in its shoulder. Roll damage.
It is 1d8 plus 4 radiant. Alright, that is, I guess, 8 damage total, plus 4 radiant.
All right, the damage that you do is full radiant with that.
Oh, it's full
arrows.
radiant? Oh, okay.
So that's how much
So
total?
that's 8 points of radiant damage then.
All right, so its body briefly ignites with this moon fire as it starts to freak out and try to pat it down. It swings about. It tries to pull out the arrow, can't because the arrow disappears. As it looks at you, looking both surprised, angry, and maybe a little scared.
I'm gonna shoot my second one. Does a 15 hit?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad, because I've been rolling really low. 10 points of radiant damage.
10 points of radiant damage. Oh, you catch it squarely in the chest, and it begins to choke as blood starts to build up in the corners of its mouth. It goes to pull out the arrow to snap it off with this strange kind of intelligence. It's trying to break the arrow. It finds there's no arrow there. It looks at you, and it appears as though it's ready to turn and flee. Who else is taking the surprise round?
Banje.
I'm gonna at least get closer.
Yeah, Lena would as well.
Okay.
And Banje actually doesn't have to get closer. I'm gonna check this right quick.
Are you gonna summon octopuses?
No, not this time. The one that looks like it's about to flee. This
Yeah.
I wasn't. Yeah, the one that looks like that is about to flee.
The one that looks like a bitch?
Yeah. Mbanje actually takes a half step forward and whips his hand forward and uses Thorn Whip.
Okay. Roll to attack.
Thorn Whip, buddy!
Oh, it keeps scrolling to the top. Why? You got to roll to attack.
Yeah, you gotta
sorry.
roll the 20. Yeah, he's so
It's a
in this.
D20 plus your magic modifier.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So you whip forward with your lash of vines as this green light wraps about its neck. You pull your hand back, and its massive, thick throat is snapped to the side. And it is dead. It falls to the ground.
I literally have 1 HP left.
You literally had 1 HP left.
Ah! Dead.
All right. The other looks to see its companion thoroughly just destroyed in one round. Looks at the group and snarls. And is anyone else taking advantage of the surprise round?
Yes.
I'll just move up and enter my hammer hand stance because I can't really reach them in one round.
Can you do it with your boots?
Good, but I have a feeling that there's a boss fight coming up, and I'd rather punch him in the face than these guys.
Fair enough. Action economy. All right, Alina, you get toe-to-toe with this thing, and you see its eyes. Behind the pupils, there's this red light that just kind of spills out of it. It looked angry until you stepped toe-to-toe with it, and it's a good 3 heads taller than you are. It's on just the very edge of being a large creature. You've seen Goliaths about this size.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with my sensor.
Okay.
That's a natural 20.
Oh my god! We're in the pool!
Right at the end of the night, too.
Can we carry these over?
Oh my goodness.
Carried that one over.
She
Holy
just clonked
shit!
it upside the head.
Alina's had a rough night, and mean Alina is starting to come out, and she's just like, fuck this, no demons.
All right, so it's a D8 for the crit, and then there's the. Not sure where the plus 12 came from.
God.
So wait, it's a D8 for the damage, and then it's a D8 for the radiant as well.
Let me check the item. Yeah, so when I attack using this
So-
magic flail, the target takes an extra 1d8 radiant damage.
Holy shit! Okay, and so that looks like it's a 9 on dice and then a 3 on dice after that.
Yep.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, you clunk it upside the face, and it is engulfed in radiant fire.
There's the
flails.
demon at.
It tries to put itself out, and then falls to the ground, smoldering.
That's definitely has Moon Knight, where the fuck's my money, Dracula vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the light is gone from its eyes. The light is gone from all of it as the radiant energy dissipates. You have two very large corpses in front of you. Both of them kind of glowy.
That was quick.
And Banjay gives just enough leeway to the Jaggy if he wants to like nip and try to bite and eat him. Just get a couple nibbles.
Oh yeah, it goes to town. It starts to bite and tug at its ears.
Alright, I would very much like to kill a demon.
A demon? Well, if these were left here, you think it's still around?
Yeah.
We are hunting a demon?
I just said so.
What is it? 10 minutes for talk with animals.
I think so.
Humphrey pipes up.
That's not the big ape. That's not the big ape. There's those are the little apes. There's the bigger ones, and then there's the bigger ones, and then there's the big smelly one.
I am not good with dogs, but he seems very agitated.
There's more, and there's bigger ones, and then there's one very big, stinky one.
I'm assuming the very big stinky one is the demon. And I am already in enough trouble for not killing the things I am supposed to kill, so let's kill a demon.
Which way did it go?
I can find out.
I can also find out, maybe. Depends.
And Verdi turns to talk to the dog.
I think I'll use Divine Sense.
Divine Sense.
I don't think it gives me
Divine-
very far, though.
I think it's like 60 feet.
Yeah,
or
60
100
feet. I'd see it if it was within that, so.
So here's the thing. You reach out and you channel this power and you start to extend your senses out. And you sense a very faint demonic presence in the creatures beside you. It is rapidly evaporating like alcohol from cloth. Demonic presences leaving them. But they are definitely tainted by something. They were before you purified them. With a mace.
With radiant damage.
With radiant mace energy, confirming that they are touched in some way and not acting entirely on their own volition. Verdi, you begin to speak with Humphrey, and Humphrey nods and thinks back.
The time is I'm not good with time. It was the sun was out when I ran, and then the sun was down when I got here. It's a long way that way.
He points to the south. Southwest. As though toward the riverbank.
Yeah, Verdi's taking out his map. Taking out his compass. And
Alright. We must be down here.
I'll point on the map.
Okay. So you take a few minutes to suss out some landmarks and some things with Humphrey, and move us back to the map of Tikal. Where is this? I want this one. That's the one. Give me that. You estimate somewhere south of the river ruins, southeast of the river ruins. It is a bit of a trek from where you are now. It'll likely be a little past morning by the time you get there. You find yourself with a decision. Do you carry on through the night? Forced march? Push and continue the fight? Or do you regroup? Take a fucking flying boat there and kill in style?
I think we're gonna need a bigger party.
Alright. I'll kneel in front of Humphrey. Hey, buddy. You want to come spend the night with me and we'll find your mama tomorrow?
He gives you a sniff and immediately starts licking your face.
Alright.
His tail's wagging.
You remind me of Misha. I'm gonna give him big ear rubs.
He gives the kickies. He tilts his head to the side and he's frothing at the mouth as he just starts to kick and beat the ground with his paw.
So, we head back before the Nexus. Head out first thing.
Sounds good. Vlor and his boat would be very helpful.
Alright, so you guys gather your belongings and you begin to make your way back along the path you came, moving carefully, moving silently, knowing what lurks in these woods. It takes you, since you're not searching, it'll take you about an hour to get back to camp. By now, most of the campfires have gone out. Most people are bedded for the evening. You find that your elven companions are deep in trance. Your Warforged companions are about halfway through their rest. Verdi and Lena, you two look out for Narixus, and you two find that he has gone to sleep for the evening. He does have a tent near the edge of camp. But you can interrupt him if you do so choose.
Alina doesn't give a fuck. She and her new puppy friend are gonna head right in. Uncle Nori, it's a demon.
So the first thing you notice is that when you approach his tent, and I'm assuming you duck in and start yelling.
Oh yeah.
Or you start yelling for. Okay, so you duck in. So you kind of move quietly and then duck in, and when you shout Uncle Nori, it's a demon, you find that he is sitting up in his bedroll. One hand is behind under his pillow as he looks you over. Moves his pillow, just moves his hand discreetly out from under the pillow and folds it on top of his lap. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
A giant demon gorilla took your rangers. We'll find them in the morning.
Several moments pass, and soon a lantern is lit, revealing the interior of the tent. Looks tired. Looks real tired for a dragon. He nods and looks you over. This is... I should be surprised. In the morning, then. He nods.
Yeah, maybe everyone takes like a brunch, moves a little bit slower so we can get the demon taken care of before we move all of these people into the demon territory.
That sounds wise. I will stall as best I can.
I mean, I've met these people. You just don't rush them and they'll probably stall themselves.
He nods. Well, I am pleased to see you were back safe.
I'm glad you didn't stab me. Have a good night.
Good night. Good night. And he turns the lantern off as you leave the tent unstabbed. Rogues, man.
Yeah, she knows.
She knows. So you guys gather back to your sleeping places. Verdi, you're aware that your Warforged companions, when they are inactive, they can hear and see everything that's happening around them. If you choose to relay your information to them, they will know.
Oh yeah, Verdi will definitely like move and sit across from Karn while he's in his rest and explain to him what happened. But he finally was able to use the potion on something.
Karn's eyes kind of like, they go dim when he's in rest mode, but they brighten a little bit as Verdi sits down and begins to talk to him. And at the mention of the potion, Karn lets out a low chuckle.
And then he will find where Roar is doing his relay the missions to Roar, because he'll want to know everything. And then he's gonna try and find himself a place to sleep.
All right.
Vanya
So
has
you guys
saved a
are-
space for his bedroll near hers.
Cute. So you guys bed for the evening.
I
You-
just see her patting the ground next to her, like looking at him, all smiles.
Nice.
Tomorrow we're fighting demons.
With all the excitement of tomorrow, it's Christmas. Okay, so you guys pass along messages to Warforged companions. I assume one of you tells Leah, "Hey, are you conscious?" and explains what's happening. Leah should be waking up fairly soon, actually. And the night passes. During the evening, there's the occasional shriek of a bird, the occasional bark of a jaggy, the occasional gurgling squawk of a slain jaggy. As you guys are in a caravan camp and it's full of fighters.
I
And
think
one jaggy.
I think Alina will eventually realize that she's going to be useless in a demon fight tomorrow, even if she is aggressively punished. So she's just gonna suck it up and go to bed. Though
Right.
Humphrey might get a lot more snuggles than he's used to.
So you hold on to Humphrey and you keep him close and you sleep. Alina, as you sleep, your dreams are fitful. You remember that cry of the raven. You recall the fluttering of wings. That scene keeps kind of playing in the back of your mind as you find yourself sort of weaving through this dark and misty forest. Through the corners of your eyes, you see the occasional flap of a bird. You see the occasional figure standing just outside of your view, deep in the woods, shrouded in mist, cloaked and robed in a black cowl. You hear a voice call out to you. "Wait, child!" As you hear Kate call out to you in the distance. You awaken at that point to sunlight, dim as it is. No meeting, no discourse, no prophetic words. Give yourself a once over, you check yourself out, and you confirm that your spark of divine power is still there. Your ability to smite is still there, the most important thing for what's happening today. But something feels off, like you're being watched. And you check the tent, and there's just Humphrey there, kind of looking at you, concerned. He's doing a concern.
You are a very good companion, Humphrey. Thank you very much. I'll give him extra ear scratches.
He tilts, kind of frothy in the mouth.
When we find your mama, maybe she will let me give you extra cuddles.
His tail wags as he goes to stand and leave the tent to do his business. The rest of you begin to awake. Let's see, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At about 6 a.m., you guys have gotten the minimum amount of sleep, with some room for light activity. Spoilers, riding in a boat is light activity. You may choose to sleep in if you like, but the Warforged wake up first. Leah wakes up second. We lost Sam somewhere down the line. Is he under a baby?
Not quite. Hey, Sam. Sam. Hold on, I gotta get up and poke him.
Oh, he's doing to me.
Did he fall asleep?
Liam woke him up at like 4 this morning. Sam.
Oh, poor guy.
Hey. You are out hard, huh?
I feel that fatigue.
As in, literally, your character is awake now. He's coming back.
Okay.
Your character is awake now. Your character is awake now.
Oh.
Right.
You need to come back from AFK.
Right, so you guys have time to prepare your morning spells. Elena, you have time to prepare your morning prayers.
Since 4 a.m. this morning.
I know, I told them.
Those of you who maintain your armor and such have a little bit of time to eat breakfast and prepare yourselves for what's to come. You are aware that there is some kind of camp to the south, some kind of demon of Balagora? Yeah, that's the one. Is controlling nearby wildlife in the form of apes. You know that the companion beast, Humphrey, is more or less given directions to vary. The question is how do you prepare?
Say my morning prayers and read Engine.
Okay.
All right.
So, Alina, you begin your morning prayers, and it feels odd. Like you know you're in trouble, and it feels kind of weird. Something doesn't quite feel right in the stomach. But you carry on. You go and you find Jean, and you read her into the situation. You explain what you saw the night before. Was there a specific question or course that you wanted to take there?
Probably tell her about the nightmare and about Kate.
Sean, as she's getting her armor on, she furrows her brow and rubs her chin, and well, it could be a number of things. It could be prophetic. In our order, we run into messages now and again from the powers that be. Sometimes it's a verbose bit of advice, a statement or a phrase that you can recall from your dream. Other times, it's vague. Walking through woods, not knowing your path. The screaming bird certainly sounds frightening. It could be a warning. It could be reason to watch yourself closely today. There may be danger ahead.
Perhaps it is just a bad dream, but I generally don't just have dreams, especially in the last few weeks.
And she nods. Tightens the buckles on her waist. Well, if anything, Perhaps it might be best to avoid walking through misty woods, and perhaps avoid cloaked figures.
Cool, I'm gonna go fight a demon instead.
Okay, well, good luck with that. I wish you the best, and do come back alive. There's a
If
bit
I
of a
don't,
shortage of paladins these days.
if I don't tell Salin what I was up to, okay?
Your stupidity is safe with me.
Appreciate
Be
it.
safe.
I will. Well, kind of.
Moons guide you. She nods and goes about her way, looking a little bit more frazzled than she was before. Begins rousing the troops, essentially, to not move ahead yet. With more questions than answers, you begin to prepare in earnest for what is to come. Biff, was there something you wanted to do?
No, I was looking through Mbanje's features and trying to see if he can switch spells, but he can't, so never mind.
Druids can switch their
Yeah.
spells each day.
Druids can.
It takes 1 minute per spell level, but you can change out your entire spell list each day if you choose.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm currently going through Karn's list right now.
So if you're using Tidy Sheet, you should just be able to right-click and unprepare, then right-click prepare.
Yeah.
Radical. Okay, so you take time to do that. Karn, you spend time communing with Green. Your stowaway has returned to being your stowaway. Or you've been filled in on the situation. There is an entity to the south, just south of the River Ruins, it seems like. A demon of some kind that has been rousing the local ape populace, as it appears to be ape-like in shape and disposition, a brutal force of nature. More concerning is that it appears to have kidnapped or captured some of the rangers of the commission.
Well, Humphrey said they were eating people, but I don't think Verdi really wanted. Well, he told them. He wanted to not tell them.
I mean, I don't know if Humphrey said eating people, but really good use of reading subtext.
I mean, it sounded like that's what he was saying.
Bruh, it's demons. Of course they're eating people.
Of course they're eating people.
Just real quick check. Has Sam said anything?
No.
Oh man, your mic is real bad. If
Nah, I just grabbed it to move it because it was way back.
Okay, I can hear you now. I don't know if you got the thing about Roar being read in on the situation.
Yeah, I heard.
All right, Brad. So the current game plan is to head down in that direction, find the camp, and blow it up. I think. That said, you guys gather at the all-terrain vehicle and begin to formulate a plan, sharing what you know. You know that there are potentially people alive in this camp that could come to harm, will come to harm if nothing is done. You know that it is a camp with numerous creatures in it. Small apes, small ones are the ones you found yesterday, large ones, bigger ones, and then their master. You know it's populated, so it must be big and active. You guys will have to decide how you'd like to approach it, who you plan to bring with you, and how you plan to engage with this. Gonna pull it out of character for a moment. You guys have a chance now to build a team.
12 party fight. 12 party fight.
If you guys want to bring 12 characters, you certainly can.
I think it's 12 total.
I don't know how many Revivifies you have among you.
Oh, we'll be fine.
I've got both Revivify and Raise Dead.
Motherfucker. Okay, so
I mean, I'm still choosing Karn's spells, and he does have access to Revivify.
What's that
You guys
do?
have-
Druids get reincarnate too, I think.
Ooh.
Reincarnate. So Revivify. Revivify lets you raise someone back to life at a reduced cost if they've died within a minute. Raise Dead is very expensive. Revivify is a bit less expensive. It's a lower spell slot, so it's more economical. But it's really like body still gotta be hot to do it.
Yeah, Revivify
Unless-
is getting shocked alive back with the paddles in the ambulance.
Unless you cast Gentle Repose.
True.
You also have that.
So you guys have some tools available to you. As far as the traveling group, do you guys plan on bringing your side characters? Do you plan on enlisting your NPC friends?
Maybe not the NPCs. Unless somebody can make a good argument for it.
It's also possible to bring them with you and have them camp while you guys go on foot to do something stealthier.
Gallivan can kick ass. Isn't he a paladin?
Yeah, we could probably use a
something.
paladin. It's less sketchy.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
so
Alina
you guys-
would approach Gallivan and be like, "I'm going to go fight the demon, but I'm getting the feeling that I am not cool with the Raven Queen right now. So
Das ist demons?
yes.
Das ist demons?
You want to go fight the demon?
Da, we will fight demon. Galleon will come.
Great.
That's all he had to do is
He
say
plants a
demon.
shiny metal hand on your head.
You will figure out problems that you are having with Raven Queen. It will all turn out in the end. But for now, we will fight demons.
When
I
in
love
doubt,
Gallivan
kill
so
demons.
When in doubt, kill demons. You are quite wise.
So you've enlisted Galleon pretty fucking quickly.
All you gotta do is mention demons.
I like how
So-
she tells Jean, "I'm going to go fight demons," and Jean's like, "Don't die." she tells
Don't die.
She tells Gallium. Gallium's like, "Let's go fight demons."
Priorities, man.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
So you guys begin talking
Paladins.
about killing demons, and you find Bulgup is shying away from the boat and shying away from the conversation, and kind of doing his own thing off to the side, looking pensive, looking kind of sketch, and kind of like quietly excusing himself from the group without saying anything.
Don't worry, Bulgup. You can sit this one out, I think.
Much appreciated. I have enough trouble dealing with one.
Should we let him know which variety, what flavor of Hellspawn we're fighting? In case he has any advice.
No, I think Algarath will just use it to tease him.
He kind of nods at that.
His information always comes at a cost. Though he is
Asking Algarath
cocky.
directly, less and more asking Bulgup if he had any experience.
I don't know. Do you ask him?
Sure. I'll because I can't pronounce it either. I'll repeat
Balgura.
Belgra.
the
All right. So
giant demon monkey,
giant demon monkey.
not the big one, not the one that starts with a D.
Vegeta?
Oh, no.
We don't talk about him. He doesn't come into this game. You have to be really important to get his attention.
Oh no.
I can pronounce his name.
Don't say his name.
No.
Don't.
Yeah, don't do that. So, Leah, you bring it up, and you talk to Bulgup for a little bit, and he He takes a few moments and focuses and...
Well, Aglorath would find it funny if some of his ilk were to meet an unfortunate end for being weaker and ill-prepared and smelling bad. That said, Baragura, you cannot poison them, so don't try, or do try. Though he's laughing now, great.
He glances at you, Verdi.
Aglorath says that he is hearty like you are.
Resistant to cold and hot?
And he nods.
Yes. As well as lightning. Oh, he's resistant to a lot of things. Magic is going to be difficult to use. Unless you have something else.
We have radiant.
Oh, that is useful. They don't like that very much. They are brutes. They are beasts, but they also have the power of the abyss. They can warp the weave, cast spells. Be careful of that. Also be careful of their fists and their running toward you. They're kind of a triple threat. He's gone back to just cackling at me and you for trying. So good luck. I'm afraid if I come by, they might start talking to one another, and I don't want that at all.
If only it could be a good distraction for us to do something, but no,
Let's just run him over.
Just run him over with the boat. Hell yeah.
Just plow the
yeah.
boat into him. That's our opening shot.
Holy shit. Opening call is plowing the boat.
Built on the prow of the boat for ramming speed.
Boat does like 80. And it's a boat. Okay. So Bulgup offers you what information he has. The thing is immune to poison. It's resistant to poison. Cold, fire, and lightning are all resistant. It is tough. Physically tough. It casts spells. It hits hard. It hits often. And it has an army of monkeys. Apes, sorry. So, armed with a paladin and armed with information, Edith is going to excuse herself from the boat unless you decide to...
Yeah, Vanya's not going to try and get Edith involved in this nonsense.
I think I'm gonna cozy up with the nice dragon man. He seems to take care of his people. Young lady, a moment. Hold up your hand, please.
Oh?
So she licks her upper row of teeth, wiggles one of her canines with her tongue, reaches up, and plucks the tooth from her mouth. And you see that her tooth, her canine, appears to be made out of this shiny, metallic material, like iron. And she takes a minute and squeezes it with her thumb and forefinger and molds it into shape until it's almost like a spoon without the stem. And she hands it to you.
Just be sure to hold on to this. Granny can hear you when you say things, and you can hear when Granny says things.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Do let me know what's going on. I would like to know what is going on. Don't get yourself killed. You got lots to do.
So much to do. And Vanya will give her a hug.
She squeezes your back and pops
Careful.
some of your pops some of your vertebrae, but not, no bludgeoning this time. As you guys gather into the boat, Adanu and Khalid, they make their way into the portable hole, because where you go, they go. They are going to follow the blackguards. They don't know anybody in the caravan.
Yeah, they're all sus.
They are all super suspicious mortals. They're weird. They smell funny. And you guys make your way onto the boat.
They eat hot chip and lie.
Eat hot chip and lie. Roar, you get the boat up and running, and you guys begin to take off. Is there a particular path or course that you would like to take to get close to this camp? Do you try to find it from afar? Do you...
Does anyone specify how close it is to the river? Because I know we were given information that it was down
Around
to the
where
south.
that orange X is where we need to go.
Take you about 2 hours to get to that area, or about an hour and a half to get to that general area.
Oh yeah, well, I'll definitely start by going down the river since we've already done the river run to the ruins.
Okay. So you get that boat up and running, and you begin to follow that river, sticking to the path as you go. Let's see. About here. Everyone, let's see. Who's keeping watch? Who is spotting for this adventure?
Verdi will definitely be up and about. Keeping
Karn
an
will
eye
be
out.
up there too.
Okay, Karn and Birdie, you guys are looking around and monitoring the situation. Something that you see while you are running along the river. As you approach the river ruins, you see wildlife along the riverbank on both sides. There appear to be small creatures here and there. You see there's a fox. You see there appears to be a small brown hare, except it's got a protrusion on its forehead. A curled, twisted ivory horn. Those of you who hung out in Gnome Town, you recognize this as an Almirage, and they are timid, and they are rare. Generally, they're not seen outside, but with the inherent dangers of the jungle and the roaming undead. But as you pass by the river ruins and the miles surrounding, it almost seems like a natural bastion. With colorful birds in the trees and small creatures meandering around. Verdi and Karn, as you guys are actively searching for things that are, specific, not the obvious stuff that's out of place, you can both roll me perception checks, or one of you can roll with advantage.
I've got +8 to my perception.
I have +12.
I'll give Verdi advantage.
Okay, Verdi the Night Rogue.
Alright, 18 on die, so that is 26?
Did she say she had +12?
30? What? I can't.
18 on die with a +12 is 30.
30.
You rolled a 30 perception. Jesus Christ. Okay. Verdi,
Sorry.
you notice as you approach the southern part of the river ruins, along that crook and bend of the woods, you look outward and you see the tiniest little wisp of smoke rising above the deep thicket of the woods. Several miles inland, you see what appears to be a camp or a cook fire or wildfire, though it's their own season for a wildfire, so by process of elimination, you think it's people or a camp. You also notice, as you are peering into the woods, there's a set of eyes peering back. In the distance, deep in the thicket, you see a dark, furred hand up against one of the trees, hiding from you, hiding from sight. But what gives it away is the tiny pinpricks of red light, as you see one of these corrupted apes looking at you from a distance, looking at the ship as it passes.
Well, I think
get there first. You point out the location of the wisp of smoke, and you direct Roar toward it. Roar, you have a heading. It's deeper in the woods, about a half hour's travel from where you are. Well, half hour by boat speed.
Yep, I will get the boat turned and I'll head in that direction since I have a new heading.
All right, are you going overland or following the through the woods speeder bike style?
Through the woods speeder bike style because if something tries to jump on our ship, I'm going to be keeping it moving fast so that they just bounce off of it or, get dragged along like little assholes.
Hell yes! So, Roar, you turn the boat about face and you fucking dive along the shoreline toward a break in the woods, what looks to be a path that you quickly realize this isn't a path. The boat, banks left and you begin to weave through the tall trees. I need everyone aboard. I need everyone aboard to roll dexterity saving throws. Alina, I'm assuming you're in the center of all of this, keeping everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
All right, add 5 to your checks.
She was keeping watch, but she doesn't count because her perception is so goddamn low.
This is acrobatic.
Do I have to roll? I'm actually holding on to the.
You're the pilot.
I'm the pilot, or do you need me to roll disadvantage because I have something steadying me?
I don't know what the hell is going on with my saving throws. They are fucked up.
Is her aura 10 feet?
10 feet.
Okay.
Why is it saying undefined save? Give me a moment.
I don't know.
Oh boy. Oh, there's a couple 20s in the pool, aren't they?
There's 4.
There's 4.
Feel free to take one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to roll for Vanya and Karn again.
That's a little better.
Oh, that's much better. That's before we add the +5 from Alina.
Oh.
And
nice,
it's not
nice.
it's not adding. Yeah, my saving throws are fucked up. It's not adding my modifiers.
What is going on?
Stop doing that, you bitch.
Oh, roll again
Give me
just to
one
see
moment.
what happens. Yeah, it just says undefined save.
Let me see something real quick. Give me one moment.
Yeah, sure.
I look forward to seeing how this resolves, but I need to get going.
There we go. That works. Dexterity works, and that looks to be your bonus. +3, +5, because that's your thing. Yeah, the character sheet doesn't. For some reason, your character sheet wasn't doing it. All right, I'll resolve this momentarily. And yeah, I did plan on ending here. What was it? OGL. Okay. All right, so I'll take that. Let's see. We'll take the 20 on that one. All right, so
20 on what one?
12 on the dexterity save.
That on Roar's dexterity save?
No, on yours.
That's Roar's. Mine still says undefined save.
That's weird. It looks. On my end, there's one right above Roar that has yours.
Oh, yeah, yours is hidden
yours is hidden.
from us.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
because you rolled it, we don't get to see it.
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
Now
Forgot
I
that was
see
by
it.
default.
Oh, you see it.
Alright, so. Alright, nobody ate shit? Nobody ate shit. So, You guys manage to get through the woods, whizzing and zipping past trees at high velocity. There's a few low-hanging branches. There are a couple of audible thumps against the side of the ship as something smashes against the front, is knocked aside. Something else tries to jump on the ship and eats shit, is run over by the ship, tumbles underneath the ship. Somehow, Roar, you manage to just bring it low enough to grind this thing into a pulp as you go over it.
Oh
and,
my god.
Yeah, you leave some carnage in your wake, both in the form of ecological terrorism and more stolen NFTs, it looks like. You guys find yourselves at a you guys find yourselves. Oh, hold on. Give me a moment.
It's just gray.
Oh, good. It's just gray. Configure. Lighting. Save. Okay. You guys find yourselves approaching a part of the river that branches off a thin stream that gathers into a deep pond far in the distance, surrounded by thick thickets of trees, raised slopes, and rocky outcroppings. You see that twirling column of smoke in the distance, and Roar, you decide to slow the ship down to get a better look at the surrounding area. From a distance through the tree line, you can just scarcely make out what looks to be some tamped down land in the distance, some what look to be tents that have been put up, ramshackle as they are, made of scraps of leather and flesh, and rudimentarily put together wooden beams. One of the tents looks to be of sufficient build. It looks to be well-cut cloth and structurally well put together. It looks decorated with a banner with the face of a raging gorilla or ape bearing a crown on their face. You smell the distant scent of decay. Smells like some kind of meat being roasted. The scent of refuse and just the general funk of a lived-in area. The water is murky and cloudy in the center of this pond, which is being fed by this thin stream. Looking about this camp, some of you get a closer look from the distance, squinting and peering. You do see what appear to be large cages off to the side of the tents, with figures inside of them, humanoid figures. You also see lumbering among various small entities, a number of large ape-like creatures. White of fur, with multiple arms. They are massive by human standards, as well as a number of smaller, dark-furred apes that seem to be forming a line around this camp. As you guys start to peep and poke around and peer at this camp from afar, ducking out of the tent is a massive orange and blue furred ape-like creature with a massive jowled underbit jaw, tusks poking out from underneath. His heavy brow is adorned with a shining silver circlet of some kind. His massive forearms are decorated with these golden bracers that are scuffed and dinged up from what appears to be the signs of war. He looks about his camp, looks about the cages, and looks about the empty fire pit and spit. Takes a deep breath of morning air before chuckling to himself. And that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Cuckoo?
Woot.
Okay.
As a point of order, because I
As a
passed
point
out
of
and
order,
didn't get the same thing
and
earlier.
didn't get the same thing earlier.
When
When
Roar woke up,
when Roar woke from his sentry's rest, the first thing he would have done is immediately done the hour's worth of work to make Evrar, and then he would have immediately gone into a ritual casting of Find Familiar, so that he had
as well.
Yeah, remind me when we start next game. I will retro that, and between games, I'll make a token for this creature, and get your familiar all set up. All right, well, thank you guys for game. Thank you guys for sticking it through.
I like how Alina was like, I'll be safe, I promise. And then they go kick in the door.
Go kick in the door. Yeah, can be some door kicking. Let's see what's going on. Thank you guys for game. Thank you for playing. I'll be available in IMs for a little while longer, but I am going to pop up the force now.
Alright, thanks
See
for
you
next
game.
game.
I'm gonna tap the bed.
Bed. Bye.
Thanks for staying
Bye.
up. Have a good one. Peace out, guys.
Good night, everyone.